Hello, hello, hello.
Happy Friday, everybody. There I am. How's it going? Been a short while. Yes, the music is now East 3. I did change it. When's Magi Nation to speak distinctly to you and Woozle? Good question, Hazmat. I do appear. Let me say hello to everybody and thank you for the gift or the resubs so far, Linguini and Syncoplay and Imitation Orange. It's good to be back. Also, amazing streak, Panis, and nice streak, Lyles, as well. Thank you, Jones, as well, for the raid. TurboGrafx CD for $1,000? That's too much. It's a great system. Don't pay that much for one. Just get a Japanese PC Engine CD. They're much cheaper. So let me say hello to everybody. The initial music was indeed It Came From the Desert, a Cinemaware game for the TurboGrafx CD. But let me welcome people in. Welcome Beep, Frost King, Lyles, Meaty Spack, Chappie, Phazon, Imitation Orange, Panis, Woozle, Null, Boniface, Bones, Felly. Welcome in, everybody. Hello also to Ixel, Syncoplay, Maho, Howl. Hello as well, Jones, Coolboy Mew, the Above Average Gaming. Welcome as well, Maho. Welcome, Hazmat. Hope everybody's doing well. Glad to hear Yu-Gi-Oh! Is bullshit, which it often seems to be. I know nothing about it. So hello, Imva. Hello, Chaotic Claw. Hello, Aldous. Hello, Linguini. Hope I'm not missing anybody. Yeah, who up running the Junk 64? I am American Pineapple. This is a brand new N64 homebrew title that I'll be playing tonight on real hardware, courtesy of my Summer Cart 64. This is by homebrew programmer James Lambert, who you might remember from the Portal 64 demake. Really incredible work. From everything I've seen so far, Junk Runner looks incredible, with one of the largest gameplay and draw distances of any title on a 5th generation console. Potentially even more impressive than Starfighter on 3DO. When am I streaming Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories? I actually have that game, Woozle. Also, Woozle, you did redeem a cold one. Is it alright if I pour it into a mug and then chug it? It just makes it easier. But yeah, thank you for waiting for me while I took a little break. I just needed a break. I'd been very busy. Real life's been very busy. So just a week and a half off was great. Key open the side of the cannon shotgun. That's not an option in my room, Woozle. I do not want to make a mess. Not worth doing. Yeah, the Summer Cart 64, I like a lot. Being open source, it's pretty good. Play Forbidden Memories. I don't know how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! At all. That would make for an entertaining stream, I think, though. Alright, it's going in the mug, Woozle. It's my stream, I make the rules. It is, however, going in the classic game room insert beer output fun mug, so you know it's good. Oh, but let me tell you some of the things I bought while I was taking my break. Either bought or got shipped to me in that time. Oh, hold on. Beer poured. Cheers, everybody. Oh, I'm just thinking of all those memes, like when the beer hits your hand on a Friday night. Do you know what I mean? Cheers, everybody. I'm drinking Yingling Beep, my favorite cheap beer. They literally made it up before the rules. That's great. Praise Hazmat, Jones, and Woozle. Well, you're all very entertaining fellows, and you're all quite monstrous in your design in really entertaining ways. Scold Woozle. Woozle, you have not washed your hat in almost 5 years of VTubing. That's disgusting. Exactly, Hanabi. Call me Anakin Skywalker the way I'm slaying these Yinglings. what was I? You're cultivating luck. Well, it's not working. Stop it. Let's see. So some things I've picked up recently. Yeah, he'll expose his bald head if he washes it. Things I've gotten recently. I've picked up some more 3DO games. So now I've got a nice copy of Killing Time. The expansion pack to Shockwave called Operation Jumpgate came in. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, the new Grandmasters or whatever it's called for 3DO came in. That's amazing. Blown away at the quality of that one. Really spectacular. Let's see, I got Lost Eden for my Philips CDI. I got a bunch more PCFX games, including one I've been looking forward to for a long time called Last Imperial Prince. And my PC-98 came in the mail. So I am now the proud owner of a PC-9821XA10, which I'm quite excited about. However, there's a lot to do before I can use it and stream from it, which includes sourcing a mouse and keyboard, because those are proprietary. Does it play Doom? Yes. Specifically, yes, the PC-9821 plays Doom, which was ported by the company Imagineer, who also made one of my favorite underrated NES games, The Battle of Olympus. However, things I'm going to want to do before I'm really streaming from that PC-9821, I will want to probably source an FM sound card. Would any keyboard work on it? No. Not even an old PS2 keyboard, and I have those. For a mouse, you can use a Microsoft Import mouse. That is the same 9-socket mini DIN connector. That will work. For a monitor, I'm going to need to make sure I have a monitor that can handle, I believe it's a 24 hertz refresh rate. So a little odd, but I should be able to use a regular VGA cable for that, which is good. I did also have to buy a step-down power converter, because Japanese electronics run on 100 volt, and US mains electricity is 120 volt. Now, all Japanese electronics can do either 50 or 60 hertz for AC, not a problem. The issue is, chances are it would be fine if I just plugged it into my normal, outlet, but it would maybe be a little too much and could potentially short the power supply, so I don't want to risk that. So I did buy a step-down power converter that can handle the wattage. I'll just use that for my Japanese consoles from now on, because no sense not to. But then I will also want to get an FM sound card, and probably a replacement for the hard drive, and potentially an external dual floppy drive. We'll see. There's a lot that'll have to happen before I'm actually streaming games from the PC-98. However, I can confirm it does turn on. I believe the seller also pre-installed Windows on it, which is kind of nice. But there's a lot I need to do. However, because it's a new enough PC-98, I can theoretically get a PC-98 or a PCFX-GA, which was a graphics card that plays PCFX games from the disk drive on a PC-98. So I could theoretically play my PCFX games on my PC-98 instead of on my PCFX, which is pretty neat. I don't need to do that. I have a working PCFX, but hey, pretty cool. Windows 98 Howl. It's a fairly late model PC-9821, but not one of the last models. So it should have some pretty good compatibility with everything that I want to play on it. I may have some issues with very early PC-98 games, because you have to keep in mind the PC-98 ran contemporaneously with the PC-88 for the better part of a decade. I'm talking like from the mid-'80s onward. And it was mostly a business computer, whereas the PC-88 was more of a home computer. I mean, it's a computing standard that existed for about 15 years. Anyway, I've got a ton to learn. I mean, Volpez, is there anything more on brand for me? Also, that would allow me to play a couple exclusive PCFX GA titles. Ooh, I will refill my mug. Thank you, Procione. And yeah, DSLR, I took a little break. I was just getting tired. Yeah, it's an x86 computer that is not IBM PC compatible, which is quite interesting. And it's got a wonderful library of software. It bothers me a little bit that people think of it as primarily an Aerogate platform when that's not really true. It's got literally thousands of games. The Aerogate are great, don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's the original Toho platform. I'm particularly looking forward to playing the original versions of T&E Soft's new golf simulation, new 3D golf. You know, Pebble Beach. Oh, there's so much more than that, Strong Badman. There's tons of RPGs. Falcom. Falcom's titles were PC-98. TGL, there's 7 Farland story games on there. Corpse Party, there's so much to discover. Anyway, will I be playing some large sprite action games? Doesn't have that many of those actually, but I could play Rusty. That's a fairly large sprite action game. Anyway, talking about Homebrew though, I've got something very, very exciting. Hold on, there we go. Just topping off my beer. Tonight, I'm going to be playing a brand new N64 game, and by brand new, I mean really released within the last, 24 hours, is the most recent version of what I'm playing, called Junk Runner 64. And I'm very excited for this. Let me just... There we go. Make sure I'm looking the right way as I'm streaming. More or less. Now, I've got my... Yeah, this is hot off the presses. I've got my Summer Cart 64 hooked up here. And let's take a look at Junk Runner. Now, I also want to stress, a lot of people think of storage space as being the main constraint of the N64 hardware. That's not true. This whole game is only fit into 16 megabytes. Easily on the space of a commercial cartridge. The largest ones were 4 times that size. So this is not a case of, well, we've got unlimited storage space because it's a modern homebrew. No. This easily could have fit in, a commercial cartridge from the system's launch. What this is, though, is maybe one of the most impressive tech demos I've ever seen, because the programmer, James Lambert, wanted to see how far can you push draw distance in an N64 game while still maintaining acceptable performance. My mic's a little quiet, or is the music a little loud? So, just looking at the levels, Mike looks okay. Nice streak, DSLR. Seems fine? Okay. Now it's adequately loud? Okay. I could have just moved away for a sec. Junk Runner 64 tetrahedra. This is brand new homebrew. Yeah, I might have moved my head back. Now, I did play a little of this before stream to make sure it was working. I'm blown away. You'll see why pretty soon. But I need to stress this is running on real hardware. There's no fancy tricks. There's nothing boosting this. This is just an N64 game. Nothing fancy going on behind the hood other than very clever programming. can't let Samson die. He's all I have left. Straight off, here's our character model. Very detailed, very nice looking. Camera control with the C buttons. Really nice character model. Press start to see your inventory and world map. You can use the C buttons to move the camera around. It does look a little like a 3DS game. This motor I found should fix the hover cycle. The hover bike accelerates with A and slows down with B. You get off by pressed B while stopped. Now, I should stress this is an in-development game. This is not a, final release or anything. And it's made by a very, very small team. Now we get to repair a bike. So this is one of the key systems in the game. You figure out how parts fit onto stuff to repair it. Now we're going to ride out into the wider world and see what we can find. Now, I'm going to sound like Todd Howard for a second, but you see those mountains over there? You can go there, and that's not a joke. At all. That's not like a JPEG off in the distance. That's an actual rendered object and part of the play world, and you can go there. Also, we've got Johnny 5 from Short Circuit here. Hello, Jax. I have a task for you. Acquire clean water to tend to Samson's wounds. Okay. However, the well was damaged in last night's raid and needs new parts. You can scavenge for parts near the river. Your bike is equipped with a scanner. When you're near the parts, it will beep to let you know. Here's a map you can follow to find the parts. I like how the maps are a deconstruction rather than just pointing to you on the world where it is. And just like that, we are set off into the world. We can get on our bike and go. And so off we go. We can control the camera while we're riding. Hey Armand, welcome in. And we're off. It's time for the game. Look at the size of this map. How fast we're moving, how well it's running. Nice water. It's insane. This is N64. No tricks, no... Yeah, it was a good break, Ned. Not just reasonable draw distance, Panis. This is maybe the best draw distance of any game of a console for this generation. The only game I can think of that's close is Starfighter on the 3DO, which has a truly insane draw distance. I mean, current games you would kind of take for granted that it could have a draw distance like this. But I need to, once again reiterate, this is an N64 game that only has a 16 megabyte ROM size. I can just get off the bike anywhere and start looking around. Unfortunately, there is no first-person view that I can see. And what this is basically doing is not just level of detail management, you know, LOD management, but it's also doing a lot of clever rendering tricks to make sure that things resolve in the correct order. It's pretty amazing. Now we can see our world map and we can compare it to here. So we can see, okay, I need to go around the corner and find this item. Now, it doesn't seem like this is, you know, a huge, fully fleshed out game. Again, it's made mostly by one person, James Lambert, with help from a couple others, I believe. But the fact that it looks this good, runs this well, and has a world of this scale is very worth, you know, remarking upon. And it's why I wanted to stream this. It does use a lot of dithering, which is not common on the N64. I don't mind the effect. Oh, we're close to whatever bit of salvage. And we got it. Let's see some combat. Don't think there is any, Woozle. I think this is strictly an explore type of game. Let's pick up these little nuts, though. Those are our in-game currency. It's a peaceful game. The first Strand game. It's a good bike to be able to go up a nearly vertical wall. Look at that. Now that we're up here, you can see the background is real. This is not, you know, a JPEG in the background. That's an actual rendered environment. It feels like it's worth exploring. We found a house out here. Anything in here? Oh! Found a better map. Well, Linguini, I'd say it's like Skyrim, but you can actually climb the mountain in this one. For my next map, look atop the massive rock that touches sand and salt. Pretty cool. Also, the main character model really looks fantastic, I think. Should have made Breath of the Wild on the N64. There are great modern N64 dev tools, however. He does look like an Evolution character. Seeing a mountain, the realization in Breath of the Wild that you can just go there. DJ Tatsujin, the expansion pack is not even required to play this game. You don't need it. Look at the draw distance here. It's insane. Look at the speed we're building up with our bike, too. You can also drift, kind of like Mario Kart, to get a boost. It's pretty nuts. It really does almost look like an early Dreamcast game. There's back to our settlement. Praise Felly. Felly, I saw you were playing some Ninja Gaiden the other day, and doing quite well. I applaud that. Lacks yellow paint? Good. Who needs it? Let's save our game. Oh, I also realized there's a little nut over here. When's Ninja Gaiden? I could do Ninja Gaiden. You know what, though, Woozle? I am planning an event for May. Make me play it May. Yeah, I'm doing well, Tatsujin. Make me mauled May. I don't mauled Woozle, that's the thing. You have procured the parts. Now repair the well. Full month of Congo, I'd beat it. We've got to fix this, well, I can do that. Repair complete. Good work. You've repaired the well. Come with me so we can tend to Samson's wounds. Making me play absolute dog shit is like a reward. I like that. Ooh, that's pretty nice, Meaty Spag. Also, when you go inside and the frame rate go up, this looks crazy good. There's a problem. The surgeon bot has lost power. The generator needs to be repaired. Follow me outside. The Dark Convergence 1 and 2 were pure Kino. They were great. I can't get over the ending of 2 where the developer just gave up. Here's the broken generator. You should be able to acquire parts in the sand dunes to the northwest. I'll stay here and do what I can with the fresh water you helped procure. This map will aid you in finding the generator parts. Come on, you two, tend to the injured before you fix stuff. Be sure to check in the store to see if there's anything useful before you head out. So, Soldater, this is a brand new N64 game. And by brand new, I mean like as of today. With the most wildly impressive draw distance I've ever seen on the N64. Where like that building over there in the distance, or all of these mountains, that's not a static background. You can actually go there. I sound like Todd Howard, but it's true. And you actually can. Now in the store here, this will upgrade the speed of your hover bike. I do wish to buy it for 5 nuts. Oh, can't afford that. Boost charge without drifting. That's all right. Now, this is largely the work of one guy. Would I say Ninja Gaiden or Batman 89 is harder? Ninja Gaiden, but not by a lot. Ninja Gaiden is difficult, but the structure of the game is fairly forgiving. Because you can just keep trying. There is Meaty Spag. Or I thought there was. So let's see, I need to go to the... which direction? The sand dunes. It's incredible so far, Natsume. Map maker and canyons. Arches. I thought it was complete. I could be wrong. Okay, we're going to the sand dunes. Oh. You know, the literal sand dunes that I can see with my eyeballs. Way over here. Let's go. Oh my god, we're going fast. Oh, and we can drift to go faster too. We can build that up by either getting air or drifting. So this is a salt plain. Didn't that map maker say something about where salt meets sand or salt meets rock? Hey, Lunar Wind, how's it going? I need to stress as well, this fits into only 16 megabytes. Now, I believe this coder, James Lambert, also successfully applied mega textures in an N64 game. He's done a lot of wizardry, including a Portal demake. I think this is probably the house I'm looking for. That's all good stuff. For my next map, make a daring leap to the large isolated plateau. This is pretty cool. Yeah, when do I go to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters? Look at this. Sick as hell. I have heard about the Cave Story rap. I listened to it too. It's good. It's crazy that it's good. Well, I've clipped through the environment a little bit. Oh, it's forcing us back out. Oh. Also, hello, Petty. How you doing? Oh, it just sent us right back here. That's okay. What about our bike? You can hit R to get back on your bike. Oh, it seems like it's dragging us back into the environment. Okay, good to know. If you clip through the environment, the game won't just let you fall forever, probably. May I get out, please? Todd would never. We are indeed in the Hall of Mirrors. Bike stuck. Okay, so I can get out just fine. Let me try... What if I go back into the house and come out? Will my bike be there? No, not the orange dimension again. There we go. See, no problems. Let's just try not to fall back through again, if I can help it. And if I can't, oh well. So this is pretty awesome, I gotta say. Just the sensation of, you know, biking around, huge open environment. I mean, this really feels like Xenoblade Chronicles scale, but on the N64. Which I feel like is an insane sentence to say. Yeah, the music's pretty nice. Also, the textures when you're indoors look quite good. Ah, looks like we got to put back together the door handle here. If I were a door handle, which way would I go? Just got to figure it out. Door hinge. Yeah, big power switch, something like that. I would think it would go like that, but apparently not. Certainly not like that. No, okay. Just gotta find where it goes. I don't think it needs additional parts. I think I just haven't put it in the right spot. So clearly that's not going to be it. Really feels like that would be, though. Yeah, I need a brain between my ears. You were just waiting for that, weren't you, Woozle? Let's see you do it, smart guy. Oh. Sure. Not where I would have thought it would go, but okay. We found a part, but I think we need 3 parts. So let us consult our map. This is not built off any game's engine. This is a new engine, all new technology made just for this game. Okay, so this was the furthest east one, comparing our map to the printout here. So if we go west, we'll find it on the other side of that rock formation. At least that's what the map appears to be telling us. Let's go west and look for, there's a rock formation. And we're zooming. It'll be on the other side of this. Like the little boost points spattered about the map. Ah, here we go. Gotta be right around here. There it is. Pick it up. There we go. Theoretically, you could just walk the entire map, but can't see that going too well. Now our next one will be between the wall and a rock. So maybe on the other side here. Yep. Challenge run, beat it by walking. That sounds like a not very fun challenge to me, Woozle. You're free to do it, though. I'm trying to imagine what would the reaction to a game like this have been in, 1998, 1999. The less fun the challenge, the better it does on social media. Bikeless speedrun. It needs more killing, 2 out of 5. Did I come up against the wall? I did. Oh god. Too much airtime. Too much sand, 7 out of 10. I know people make fun of the too much water review, but they're kind of right. There's way too much water with just absolutely fucking nothing going on in Gen 3 Pokemon. That is a valid complaint, in my opinion. You got all this water, and for what? You didn't put anything in it. It's a pretty good bike to be able to go up surfaces as if it's an Oblivion horse. They did word it in a very funny way, you're right. They put caves where also there is nothing. Alright, we've got our parts. Let's do some repair. Oh, there we go. That was easy. I was about to say where stuff goes is never really super clear, but that was pretty easy. The power is back online. Although it appears the nanites went bad while the power was out. You'll need to bring back more nanites. Here's a map where you can find some southeast of here. It is a surgery robot, Alaruin, meant to save a life. It hurts. The surgeon bot has power now. You need to follow that new map I gave to get more nanites. Now what I need to do is go to the store. Game is very fun so far. I mean, just being able to explore a world this large on the N64 is crazy. All right, we can now detect nuts. There are nuts nearby. Probably on the back side of the building. Yep. That's a lot of nuts. This is also very much not a, completed, finished game. This was made for a game jam and has been just receiving further development. So the fact that it's already this impressive, quite encouraging, I would say. There are nuts nearby. When do I blow shit up? Where's the gunplay? Why can't I jump? So I think they said the southeast is where I gotta go, and I think I also see where the next map guy little house would be. I think it's probably over here. Jumping's tough with a backpack full of nuts. So they said something about a jump from an isolated plateau. Not here. Maybe this one. Looks like a good candidate. I don't strictly need to find these maps, but it's kind of fun. No, that's an arch, not a plateau. Music is quite serene. The overall atmosphere is quite nice. Do you have any idea how little that narrows it down? Also don't need to find the maps. It's fun to explore. It's its own reward. Being able to kind of cheese the movement like that is pretty enjoyable, I gotta say, in its own way. No, I must be getting close. Yeah, there's the edge. I feel like it would be down there, maybe. See if I can do it. Nope, but that was kind of sick. I managed it. I wonder if there are other NPCs I can find. Is it going to be all little robot guys? Feels like it'll be all little robot guys, but you never know. Oh yeah, there were plenty of full retail games that were way less than this, you know? The fact that this is just out there for free as the work of just a couple dedicated people, it's pretty awesome. Is that a building? No. Yeah, where's the quest pointer? Where's the focus M? Where's our battle pass? Zoop existed on every platform imaginable. It's a pretty fun puzzle game, though. I can't shit on Zoop too much. Not N64. I think the Zoop craze was gone by then. If there ever was such a thing as a Zoop craze. You get to the end and Zoop is there. Go to any retro game store, you'll find Zoop. Do we need to bring Zoop back for this generation of gamers? How do we get the kids invested in Zoop? Can it be done? Bring back Wetrix. Now you're talking. Imagine with modern water physics. So just going around the world is quite satisfying. That's where Sony went wrong, Howl, is no longer having Ridge Racer at launch. Aqua. Awesome game, Volpez, and very cheap these days still if you want it. So those gates make me think there's probably a racing minigame. So good lord, we are booking. Isn't it more Namco's fault? Probably, but Sony should still tell them, like, hey, we'll pay you. We'll commission you big bucks. If the PS5 had launched with an exclusive Ridge Racer, I would have been a little bit interested. But it didn't, so I wasn't. Well, I see some nuts. Yeah, PS5, new price increase. 5 years into its existence. It's crank that price up. Let's see, what's my map show? I think they said the Southeast. I don't know if it's global. I do know it is US. I think it's global. You can do that, Jones. Sony are doing it right now. Oh, we detected some nuts. Nice. Doesn't that mean that the PS5 is effectively over $1,000 in some regions? Yeah, Nazca were pretty quickly bought by SNK after making Metal Slug and Neo Turf Masters in the same year, which has to be one of the most insanely high-quality years of output that any company's ever had. PS5 Pro is now 900 euros. Why is there even a PS5 Pro? Like, who needed that? Did developers? Why? Why did they need a PS5 Pro? Simply optimize your games a little bit, developers. Believe it or not, that's an option that you have. We got a lot of nuts. Well, what's this? A servo. Also, an ad is about to start. I'm going to take the opportunity to use the bathroom because I've been drinking beer and I already got a piss. Yeah, no time for optimizing games. The only thing we know how to optimize are short-term profits for our shareholders. I wish that was a joke, but it's really not. That's just how it is now. It's depressing and bad. All right. Anyway, I'll be right back. Thank you for waiting, everybody. I am back. Let's go find some bullshit and fix some bullshit and then get sent out to do it again. Whoa! Hello, robot. Who are you? I trade in spare parts. What do you need? So you're looking for a replacement tablet screen? I have that. They're hard to come by, so it'll cost you. Am I looking for that? If you bring me 3 industrial servo motors, I will trade for it. I'll even upgrade your scanner to detect them free of charge. Okay. They should all be near here. They are matches. Also, wait till you see the draw distance. Try looking under the big dome for your first servo. Come back and talk to me if you need help finding more of them. So this is a homebrew game. Nope. The camera got a little confused. There we go. Everything you see here, you can go there. It's the Skyrim promise, but it's real. The game actually is that large and that open. Which is kind of insane. And it runs well. And looks good. Pretty amazing if you ask me. All the ones I've seen so far are like that, Volpez. Yeah, homebrew, but there's no alcohol. Why is that? As a game, it's also pretty enjoyable. It is pretty simple, but that's not a bad thing, you know? Mostly it seems to consist of go explore, find stuff, repair stuff with what you found. And you know what? That's a perfectly fine gameplay loop if you ask me. That's probably the big dome that the robot was talking about. So let's go over there. And just the feeling of, you know, exploring the world so far has been rather nice. Oh, we've got some nuts here. I would love to see what the dev could do with this technology so far. How far it could be pushed, what types of games you could make. And N64 dev tools just keep increasing in quality and accessibility. So I would not be surprised if in the next year or two we see kind of a huge influx of high quality N64 homebrew. GTA clone. I mean, there's already kind of proto GTA on the N64. There is Body Harvest. Which I believe was made by DMA Design. I might be confusing it with something else, but that's one of those N64 games that I like a lot that I never hear anybody talking about. I've talked about this before. I'm not the biggest fan of the N64 overall. I think of the 5th gen systems, it is probably the one with the least interesting library to me personally. Hey, hello Starfire, thank you for the raid. Though I would say the N64's best games are among the best games of the console generation. It's not enough to make up for the just small library. Like, yes, its best games are truly spectacular, and there's nothing quite like them on other consoles. That's not really enough for me. What are you up to, Starfire? Thank you for the raid. This is a brand new homebrew title, Starfire, for the N64 called Junk Runner. And it's got a ludicrously large open environment. Not really, Smooth Melody. The Famicom and Super Famicom have huge libraries. The Game Boy has a huge library. The DS has a huge library. The Wii has a huge library. The Switch has a huge library. It's really just the N64 and GameCube that kind of let things down. And the Wii U. Though honestly, I'd say the Wii U probably has a better overall library than the N64. Oh, big jump. Oh wait, that's probably... I'm just thinking about home consoles exclusively. Nope. Oh, I've fallen... I drifted so hard I've gone through the environment. We'll be okay. There are N64 games that support widescreen, that's correct. Now, will my bike stop falling at some point? The most popular console of every generation will always have the most shovelware. That's just how it works. You know, that's not a mark against a system. I want to see if this can pull my bike out if I just let it keep falling for a bit. Maybe not. Feels like it's getting closer. Maybe? I'm curious, if I reset the game, where will I spawn in? See, I think personally, Volpez, the GameCube is probably... It's kind of tied with the N64 for most overrated Nintendo console for me. The GameCube nostalgia faction don't live in reality, in my opinion. I'm gonna try resetting, because I do need my bike. Your memory's accurate, Howl. That was also the case for the N64, with sometimes literal months between releases. Not just first-party releases, any releases. Go fast or teleport? I'll take teleport. Yeah, not only can you buy a Wii to play GameCube games, I would say you should buy a Wii to play GameCube games. It's just a GameCube, but better. Well, that's kind of interesting. Does this cycle through, like, doors I've been through then? Okay. Ah, this is where I just was when I fell through the environment. And I wanted to do this sick-looking jump. Oh, get there, get there. Yeah. Oh, maybe this is the... Oh, I think it's the next map maker location. With lots of nuts. There we go. For my next map, climb the hill that has river northwest and south. I think I see where he means. So the Wii U does have the ability to play GameCube games, but not from disc. But it is still playing them natively, not emulating them. Which sounds a little strange, but it's the same way that the Vita plays PSP games natively without emulation. Also, I found 3 of those servos. Let me find that robot guy again. He was somewhere around here. Also, when you get going fast, it's so cool. So the maps show... No. If the map showed the location of NPCs, that would really be something. So I'm pretty sure the stuff I need is in that kind of a city. I mean, F-Zero X Woozle is already an unbelievable technical marvel on the N64. This is pretty sick, though. And again, as the work of essentially a small handful of people, this is pretty jaw-dropping. I mean, just look at what's on display here. Can you think of other games from this console generation that did anything even like this? I can think of a very small handful that did. And even then, none that did it to this degree or this well. So not only is it doing it well, there hasn't been a load screen. Even on computer, let's say limit it to 1999. I can't think of much else with this scope, you know? So where's that little robot guy? I've got his servos. Daggerfall didn't have a draw distance like this. Looks like you found 3 servos. Do we have a deal? Yeah, sure. Good doing business with you. I think I just got the next achievement. Or the next thing I did. Oh, I see where to go on the map, though. So I need to go to what looks like that top hut, kind of northwest-ish of where I am. Exploring this map is very fun and very satisfying. Okay, yep. I'm headed for that tower directly in front of me. Now, obviously, this is not, a large, fully fleshed out game. But the size of the world is really impressive. And the potential of the technology is incredible. This machine has nanites. Transporting them will be time sensitive. Oh! Wait, that's sick. Yeah, keep in mind also, this all fits in 16 megabytes. Theoretically, you could quadruple the amount of stuff here and still fit on a commercially available N64 cartridge without an issue. Which is sick as hell. And that doesn't just mean you could make the map 4 times bigger. You could make the map 4 times bigger for very little cost if you were using the same textures. You could increase texture quality, you could increase the number of textures, you could increase the number of character models. There's an almost limitless number of things you could do. With the storage budget you would still have in a standardly available N64 cartridge. Or just imagine this with like a flying system and some combat, maybe even terrain deformation. The options are limitless. You have the nanites, now place them into the machine. Oh god, I'm still on the timer. Imagine if you ran out of time trying to place them in the machine. The surgeon bot is functional again. I'm not sure if there's any limit to the theoretical maximum size of an N64 game. I think it just depends on, like, bank switching. Memory addressable will always be limited, but still. I will tend to his wounds now. Thank you, Jax. I wasn't sure if I was going to make it. But maybe we're just delaying the inevitable. It's been so hard since Mom and Dad died. I don't think I remember what their faces look like anymore. I need to be alone for a minute. You saved his life, but it appears his spirit is still broken. I finished searching potential locations where you may find parts to repair your old tablet. Perhaps it will have something from life before the impact to cheer Samson up. I think I'm good. Look on the desk over there. Okay. So I need RAM, battery, and tablet parts. That's kind of cool. Are you thinking of K. Krieger, Volpez? Fits in, I think, 96 kilobytes or less. So let's try to find the other map maker location. They said, climb the hill where there is river to northwest and south. So I see one good place that could be. There's the nut. Also, if this game continues receiving development I would very happily buy a copy should it ever release as a, physical new game. I buy new games for my NES all the time. Actually, I have 2 that I've bought within the past year that I haven't streamed yet. One being Mala Sombra and the other being End. Both look quite good. So I think I want to follow the bend in the river here. And that's where we'll find it. Yeah, up on that hill there. So I think I need to go across and over. I'm just imagining how sick this would be if you were flying instead of just on a bike. I think, though, this might dethrone Starfighter on 3DO as now the most impressive draw distance of any game from this console generation. Because I can't think of many others more impressive than this. There are Vulpes. There's one in development right now. A new first-person shooter with a very fast and fluid 3D engine. And a new demo just released. There is also a multi-platform Mario 64 style 3D platformer in development for multiple consoles, including Saturn, PlayStation, N-Gage, 3DO, and I think a couple others. The 3DO version doesn't currently run very well, but it's mostly just a proof of concept. Okay, so I think I need to get up onto that hill. So let's try it. N-Gage. Nokia's first real foray into gaming. Well, into a dedicated gaming device. Right, I definitely think it's up this hill. So that fits the criteria. Or I thought it did. But seriously, you look at this and realize you can actually go there. It's not Todd Howard telling you lies. The game really is this open. The N-Gage does have occasional homebrew. I know I bought a new retail-released N-Gage game last year, which is really just a collection of homebrew, packaged up nicely for N-Gage. Whoops, I've fallen. But I think I'm only one of 100 people that got it, so that's kind of cool. It's called the Parasite Pack. It contained the games Flea, Flea 2, and I think one other. But I did buy a new physical N-Gage game last year in 2025. Alright, so I think it's got to be right up here. So they said what? Climb the hill, where there's river to the north, south, and west. If I'm remembering it right, I think I can kind of Oblivion horse my way up this slope. And it feels like it should be right over here somewhere. I'm not seeing any buildings. So maybe I'm not in the right spot. Maybe I already got the map and I didn't realize. That could be it. That seems actually quite likely. That map looks pretty filled out. God, that's cool. Seriously. Alright, so let's see. It's a battery location. There's an arch. I think it does have races. It's pretty awesome, Kuzi. Did you give this a whirl? Because I'm deeply impressed. Time for Sippy, you got it. God, when you get going fast too, it's so cool. Is that a little robot over there? No. Well, robot might be over here. Nope. Shipwrecked 64. So I'm not very familiar with N64 style games. Like, I've heard of a couple of them. Like, I've heard of Corn Kids 64, whatever that is. Just looked like a generic platformer to me. Apologies to any big Corn Kids heads out there. Let's save and pour a cold one. Noid 2, I would be very curious. I think that would theoretically be possible. It really does feel like we are on the cusp of like an N64 homebrew revolution with a lot of the tools that have recently been released. I would love to see the N64 homebrew scene liberated from just endless Mario ROM hacks, you know? Right, so I want to go towards the arches, I think. You know, I want to see what can some really creative people do with the N64 as a platform. I mean, the N64 having, you know, an open source flash cart is a wonderful boon, in my opinion. That's what I'm looking for. Welcome. I am RBO. Not Rob, RBO. If you complete 3 laps on my track in under 3:40, I'll give you a nuclear battery. Would you like to race? Yes. All right. Here's our racing. We've got some new music for the occasion, too. A mini-map would be nice for this, if not strictly necessary. We're cooking for speed, though. There we go. Whoa! Went too fast there. Alright, that was one lap and it took me a minute, so under 340 should be fine. Especially now that I know the layout a little bit. This is where that other upgrade would have come in handy, but we're okay without it. I keep expecting it to go under that big arch and being disappointed when it doesn't. Alright, let's really get some speed going. This is pretty sick. Oh! It's going too fast. I wonder if I can make that one by just being a little smarter. Alright, we're going to be cutting it kind of close, but I think we've got this. I think the most remarkable thing about this is, as I've been playing, I haven't been thinking of it necessarily just as like, oh, look how cool and impressive this homebrew is. It feels a lot better thought out than plenty of full retail releases on the N64, and certainly more polished than a lot of them. This is a stunningly high quality work for such a small team. By which I mean, it's really like one dude and a few other people who contributed like textures and whatnot. Hello, Waka. There we go. My first time nailing that. Whoop. There's the finish line. Finish. You did it. Your time was 3:12:48. That's good enough. As promised, here's your nuclear battery. Nice. And the RAM location, an arch with water. Where are you going? These are arches, but I don't see any water. Unless there's some just hiding in here. Which there could be. You never know. Even just puttering around. Well, let's look at that picture again. It's definitely water. Well, let's go over to the river and just kind of see what we can see. Maybe there's something I didn't see. It's pretty great for Got Password. I mean, just look at this. This kind of draw distance and performance on N64 is remarkable. Whoa, this is a location I haven't seen. Any buildings I can go inside? I really hope there's not an Ocarina of Time remake. Though I feel like I've made my stance on remakes very clear. Is this game junk? No. It is pretty incredible. It is one of the most technically impressive N64 games I've ever seen. And it's really just a couple people putting it together. Western Vimility. There's a great interview with the main coder on Time Extension. Dinosaur Planet, impressive, but not terribly. This is a brand new game, Talking Object, as of like the past 24 hours. I'll kill you, Woozle. Don't speak such evil. Just don't do it. Just see RPG Maker are adding an HD 2D style thing. Get ready for a huge glut of the worst looking games you've seen in your life. A full 3D Souls-like remake of Zelda 2. You're already dead, but I'd kill you again if I could. Yeah, Vimility, the draw distance here is absolutely unreal. Also, there's no load times whatsoever for any of the... Like, it really is a, you see that mountain, you can go there. Only you actually can. Which is honestly incredible. And it both looks good and runs great. Okay, so that's the location I need to find. Ah, just a nut. HD 2D, think Octopath Traveler. So look at how good the main character model looks. Looks fantastic. Not only is this on N64, I am playing this on my real N64. Hello, Tio. How you doing? In some of the posts on social media about this game I saw, how many of you are familiar with the Portuguese YouTuber Stika? Makes a lot of great videos on unlicensed games, games you might not know on systems. Really cool guy. Puts out lots of good videos. Somebody that I've been, mutuals with for quite some time. I first saw this from a post he made earlier today about it. Watched the interview with the developer. Was very, very interested. And saw somebody else in the comments getting a little confused. Because they looked at this and said, oh, this is what N64 games could have looked like if they were, on CD instead of cartridge. When that's just not accurate at all. This whole game takes up only 16 megabytes. CDs had nothing to do with draw distance or anything like that. This is the result entirely of just really smart programming. The storage medium has nothing to do. If anything, the cartridge might be advantageous here, because you don't have to wait for any disk load time. We're close. Was that just finding a nut? I think that was just finding a nut. I do love Zelda 2. Where are they? There they are. Now imagine, the technology at work in this game being applied to, like, say, a different genre. Imagine the kind of open world RPG you could make. There is an open world RPG, or not totally open world, but there's 2 of them on N64. Large open outdoor environments. There's Quest 64 and there's Iden Chronicles: The First Mage. Ah, here we go. I never hear people talk about Iden Chronicles. Welcome. I am RB3. If you race up the river in under 340, I'll give you 20 nuts. I'll race. That's really funny, Null. I will forever maintain that Quest 64 is not a bad game, just a disappointingly empty one. It's got great bones, and just not really any meat on them. Does my cat have a favorite game? Not really. I don't think he cares about them very much. Could you imagine if Jet Force Gemini had outdoor environments of this size and scale, and ran as well as this does? Be amazing. Jet Force Gemini is actually one of the only games by Rare on the N64, apart from GoldenEye and Blast Corps, that I do like. This is an ongoing development, yes. I don't know how much more the dev plans to do, because this was really just made for a game jam. But the kind of bones of it are so good and so compelling that I'd be shocked if more doesn't come out of it. Though the technology underpinning it certainly is going to be used, more and in other projects. Oh, we finished that easily. Yeah, there's a great interview about how all this is achieved, Towel. I mean, Yonoid 2 started as a game jam game. You did it. Your time was 1:59:60. As promised, here are your 20 nuts. Isn't this also nearly our RAM location? Sure looks like it. No, those are just nuts. Any RAM hiding here? Nope. Okay, we gotta be close, though. That's a lot of nuts. We could go get a shop upgrade with this for our bike. Maybe it's further down this canyon. I mean, it's very easy to imagine this technology being used in another, game of all different styles. Imagine a flight game like this. It'd be stupendous. This is even a larger environment than, say, here we go. What you get in the Star Wars games, which are already very impressive. I think that was our RAM. Sure was. DDR 100 RAM. Can't afford that right now. Also, the fact that all of this is in 16 megabytes is crazy. Oh, but we can take advantage of teleporting. One of the other upgrades we got. There we go. Let's go to the store. I'm very impressed with this. Boost charges without drifting. Activate with Z. I think we bought everything. Unless this is something I can buy. Nope. We bought everything. Does nighttime exist on this planet? No day-night cycle yet. Don't know if one's planned, but could you imagine just watching the sunset in this game? It'd be awesome. You have the tablet parts. Now repair the broken tablet. Socket our RAM here. Slap a screen on it. Tablet fixed. That easy. I mean, just think of how small Hyrule Field really is compared to this. Though the feeling you got when you saw Hyrule Field for the first time was like nothing else. What's this? You fixed that old broken tablet. Is that Mom and Dad? I remember now. They wouldn't want me to lose hope like this. We can make it, Jax. I know we can if we stick together. Thank you, Jax. Repair complete. Created by Team Ultra Rare. James Lambert, Pyrozine, Sapphire Ons, Turs Design, Kalen. 5 people. That's it. 5 people. Game's over? Yeah. I think we can still, explore and play around. I do have other stuff I can play tonight, though. Things are going to be okay. I have no more tasks for you. Let's still explore a little more. How cool is this, though? Oh, our boost does just charge all the time now. That's sick. So I think we have the whole map uncovered. kind of amazing. So what points on the map should I go check out? Oh yeah, a kid easily spend a couple days. I mean, it's not like this was a terribly, complicated quest. But this is not, a finished retail product game. And even as it is right now, it's still a lot better than some games that are completed retail releases on the N64. I want to know what this is up here. This feels like it's got to be for some kind of future quest. We've got what looks like a giant robot hand. The head, maybe. Or a big robot torso and head. So it feels like there's definitely more that can be done here. But even as it is, tremendously impressive. It's also worth saying, it is just fun to tool around in the game world. The bike movement is satisfying, it controls well. Oh! Found some nuts. Hell yeah. We're out of things to spend money on. But my gamer soul loves picking up items. It's just how it goes, What about getting way up here? Also, I will take a bathroom break at the ad. And then I'll figure out what I'll play for the rest of the evening. Okay, that's an invisible wall. And a little bit of a hall of mirrors. That's okay, though. I can't get over the draw distance. Like, that whole city-looking thing, that's not like a static background. That's a real part of the game environment, and I can go there. Absolutely wild. Oh, skipping over those sand dunes. We got some mean speed going. This is just cool, And the possibilities are so exciting. Because imagine, an open world action RPG. Imagine a flight game. Imagine this concept but expanded. Almost like Dark Cloud with a city builder aspect. There's no shortage of ways you could go with this kind of technology to make something really unique and amazing. It's easy to forget that I'm playing an N64 game. I'm literally playing a game on my real N64. I feel like you could manage it, Howl. Because the few NPCs that are here don't really adversely affect performance. So cool. I mean, think, could you make something like Morrowind on the N64? That sounds like an impossible task. I'm not sure it is. Maybe you could. Also, the ad's about to play, so I will be right back, and then I'll figure out what I'm doing for the rest of the night. Be right back. There we go. Thank you for waiting, everybody. Well, it looks like I have to pour myself another cold one. Oh, you know what I could show? I could show some of this same developer's other work. Which is to say, Portal 64. Which unfortunately I believe Valve did send a cease and desist about. We can at least look at what had been done up to that point. So the way the textures load in that dithering is really pretty impressive. Also, I do need to point out, I do still have a small CRT in my stream setup. Game looks really nice on it. Well, let's see what's in this little part of the canyon down here. Aha! Oh, it's a servo. I'd already found 3 of those. I don't know if you get anything for finding stuff beyond what you need. So cool cats, this is a brand new Homebrew N64 game called Junk Runner 64. I did just finish it. It's not very long, but it is an unbelievable technical showpiece featuring unbelievable draw distance and level of detail management to create an unbelievably large open game world with no loading. So kind of, you know, the Skyrim Todd Howard style promise of, you know, see that mountain, you can go there. Only you actually can. And when I say this is recently released, I mean the version I'm playing, version 2.1 here, came out literally yesterday, I believe. Like within the past 24 to 36 hours. And I saw this kind of hit, you know, gaming news and social media today and was immediately blown away by it. And so I have downloaded it, put it on my Summer Cart 64, and now I'm playing it. And it's pretty amazing. Because, I mean, look at this. Pretty incredible stuff. Very fun to just kind of tool around the game world here. I can't think of much else like it on any console from this era. Probably the next nearest most impressive thing, in my opinion, in terms of draw distance, probably gotta be... Wait, I never talked to this guy. It's probably Starfighter on the 3DO. If you complete 3 laps on my track in under 2 minutes, I'll give you 20 nuts. Let's do it. So, Prof NES, there's a whole interview with the developer on how this all was achieved. Whoa, I'm going too fast. This isn't looking good. Oh, let's try that again. Daniel, how could you be late? But believe it or not, the entire game fits into only 16 megabytes. This is actually not very large at all. Oh, okay, we got through. We're Where's the next checkpoint? There we go. There we go. I think that's the right way. The 4 kilobyte texture cache is small, but it's not an unworkable restriction. Also, the draw distance and level of detail management here is pretty insane. Not just for N64. Even on, PS2, I think this would have been impressive. Obviously, the character models and textures wouldn't stand up to most PS2 games. But the draw distance and smoothness of loading, really pretty amazing. And the fact that it runs at a good frame rate. Pretty remarkable if you ask me. Think we'll be able to squeeze in just under 2 minutes here. Finally locked in a bit. No! Just late. Oh, see, I like Evergrace's art style. I will try again. See, I think Evergrace has a great art style, but is really technically deficient in a lot of key respects. Still love it. I think Evergrace is one of those PS2 games almost everybody should play. There we go, I'm getting better. Much better. There we go. Now this is pod racing. Oh yeah. Oh, this feels good once you get into it. You stop missing every other checkpoint because you're going too fast. Oh, like that. It's fine, it's fine. We can recover from this still. Alright, I think we're fine. Just overcooked that one turn pretty badly. There we go. Hey, Faxborn, thank you very much for the sub. 32 months, my goodness. Much appreciated. There we go. We did it. Also, 6 months in advance. My goodness. Thank you so much. I got 20 nuts. This game's pretty awesome. Super impressive stuff. How do you walk? You get off the bike. But I mean, being on the bike is pretty awesome. Do they have plans to make this a full game? I don't know. Oh yeah, with 20 nuts. Actually, I've got 42 nuts now. The fact that this is all just freely interconnected, just awesome. Oh, more nuts. 43 nuts. I think we're out of things we can buy. But that's okay. Oh. My nut detector's going off. I'm 10. That's a funny sentence. Gotta be right around here somewhere. Where are they? There it is. Gimme. We got it. There is a button to teleport back to your bike if you want, but it's kind of fun to get off and walk around for a bit to appreciate the scale of the game, you know? Just double check that there's no new items in the store or anything. Like, hey, here's this one super bonus item to use all your nuts on. Nope. Nope, no other bikes or vehicles. I mean, this is a homebrew game made by a very small team, initially just for a game jam. And it's currently a non-commercial project, meaning you can just go on the developer's GitHub page and download it. Which is exactly what I did. Though I am playing it on my actual N64, courtesy of the Summercart 64 open source flashcart. It's very pleasant music, Ned. And it runs unbelievably well. I believe there's still room for optimization too, which is crazy if you could imagine this running even better. Oh, I've got to go get more cold ones. I'm behind on that redeem. All right, I'll be right back. Enjoy. Oh, look, the main character's smiling now. Presumably because he helped his brother. Enjoy how nice and detailed this character model is while I go grab a couple more cold ones. I'll be right back. I'm just going to leave it on this screen. All right, there we go. Had to run to the fridge. Let me finish the cold one that's in my mug. Then I'll pour one, chug it, and pour another. You're getting like 3 beers out of me right now. I've been too slow. No, let me increase the time on that redeem by just a little bit. Let's see. That way I don't fall into a deficit. Is there a better sound than that? I don't know that there is. Yeah, crisp. Enhanced by my using the Classic Game Room mug. How many of you remember Classic Game Room? Mark was a big part of my inspiration for how I wanted to approach streaming and my, outlook on games in general. I hope Mohammed from Qatar is doing all right as well. Excuse me. Goodness. Classic Game Room, only the original internet video game review show circa 1999 is when Mark started doing that. Before anybody. I mean, I've said it before that my two big kind of inspirations for how I want to approach presenting games are Mark from Classic Game Room and Areno from Game Center CX. I think it's always more fun to find what's good about a game than what sucks. And that you'll have a way better time playing games if you do that. And this is not a slight against AVGN, because I really like, the first couple years of AVGN videos, because the nerd is a character. James, the person, made this character to talk about games that he loved growing up as a kid, despite or even because of their flaws. And then a generation or two of kids grew up watching him and taking what he said at face value rather than understanding that, it's coming from a place of love and affection for those games. Kind of 50-50, Cool Cats. This is mostly just me. But let's get Mad Air. Look at that. He is very bald now, which is quite funny. Kind of halfway between those, Riley. I already finished the actual game portion, but even just, tootling around in the desert like this is really fun. So I don't know if I was supposed to be able to get up there, but the fact that, see those mountains over there, you can go there, is real. It's crazy. Yeah, I did it the Skyrim way. I Oblivion horsed my way up. Also, I need to finish a beer and then pour another. So, cheers, everybody. Oh, gonna get the hiccups. I believe the developer does plan to continue working on this, but even in its current state, incredibly impressive. I would highly recommend giving it a play. It is also just fun. Oh! That was a sick jump. To be able to end up there. Would I want a modded multiplayer racing version? Not really. I like this as a single player game just fine. I am enjoying going really fast. That is very fun. I mean, just imagine more towns, more NPCs to interact with, more items to repair, more complicated items to repair. You don't need to add combat to make this a compelling game. Yeah, this would work on EverDrive. I don't see why it wouldn't. I'm playing it on a Summer Cart. Those have the same basic features, so I would imagine it would work just as well there as here. I do love driving around the river here. You should, Howl. At the very least, it's just enjoyable to see this running on an N64, because it feels like it shouldn't be possible. I was going to show that next, actually, Riley, because why not? You know? It's also just a very aesthetically pleasing game. You know, instead of just being a tech demo, it looks nice. And for how little you really end up looking at it, the main character model is wonderful. And though this is not a useful camera angle for gameplay, boy, it looks nice. It's orange and blue, yeah. But it's not cringe movie poster orange and blue, it's good, nice-looking orange and blue. Woozle. It's true imitation orange. Lots of old consoles get new games regularly. There's a new Super Nintendo game in development right now that actually looks very impressive. I think called Till and Hat. Also, hold on, let me save. But then let's take a look at Portal. Same developer. Woozle, you think you're too good for orange and blue, huh? You think you're above basic color theory? Huh, Woozle? Huh? Also, here's Portal on N64. Oh, we could do widescreen. Let's do interlaced. Well, let's just go for it. This is amazingly
Hello,
impressive.
Again, welcome to the Aperture Science Computer Aided Enrichment Center. We hope your brief detention in the relaxation vault has been a pleasant one. Your specimen has been processed, and we are now ready to begin the test proper. Before we start, however, keep in mind that although fun and learning are the primary goals of all enrichment
the radio
center activities,
play
serious
King Ass
injuries
Ripper.
may occur. For your own safety and the safety of others, please refrain from
Por favor, por
donde fallan. Muchas gracias. And back. The portal will open in 3, 2, 1.
I have beaten the first Portal. How amazing is that? On N64. Would N64 run Half-Life 1? That would be an
Excellent.
impossible port.
Please proceed into the chamber lock after completing each test. First, however, note the incandescent particle field across the exit. This Aperture Science Material Emancipation Grill will vaporize any unauthorized
Yeah,
equipment
Half-Life
that
2
passes through it.
N64 when?
For instance, the Aperture Science Weighted Storage Cube.
Now, it's worth pointing out this is 41 megabytes.
Please place the weighted
Which
storage
still
cube
would
on
fit.
the 1500 megawatt Aperture Science Heavy Duty Super Colliding Super Button.
That would still fit just fine on a real N64 cartridge. Where Portal? Their Portal. Even the fact that this gets the physics is so cool.
Perfect. Please move quickly to the chamber lock, as the effects of prolonged exposure to the button are not part of this test.
Honestly, Riley, I think Mega Man 64 runs better in a lot of ways.
You're doing very well. Please be advised that a noticeable taste of blood is not part of any
The
test
fact that this runs at
protocol,
all
but is an
is
unintended
insane,
side
but it
effect
runs
of the Aperture
well.
Science Material Emancipation Grill, which may, in semi-rare cases, emancipate dental fillings, crowns, tooth enamel, and teeth.
I haven't actually played this before. Well, I've played Portal, obviously, but I've not played Portal 64.
Very good. You are now in possession of the Aperture Science handheld portal device. With it, you can create your own portals. These intradimensional gates have proven to be completely safe. The device, however, has not. Do not touch the operational end of the device. Do not look directly at the operational end of the
That's
device.
insane.
Do not submerge the device in liquid, even partially. Most importantly, under no circumstances should you...
So good. Oh, the thing you always have to do. Hold on, not that.
Certain objects may be vital to your success. Do not destroy testing apparatus.
Oh, Baroque is so good, cool cats. Should I stream PS2 Baroque at some point? I have it and kind of bounced off it
Vital
years
testing
ago.
apparatus destroyed. Please proceed to the chamber lock. Mind the gap. For
I know
your
the
own
PS2
safety,
version
do
isn't
not
as good.
destroy
It's essentially a
vital
totally
testing
different
apparatus.
game. Bye. I love to destroy vital testing apparatus. It's
Well done.
insane
Remember, the
that this
Aperture Science
works.
Bring Your Daughter to Work Day is the perfect time to have her tested.
No, I streamed and beat the Sega Saturn version some months ago. This is
Welcome
so
to test
good
Chamber 4. You're doing quite well.
that you kind of forget you're playing an N64 game, if that makes any sense.
For your own safety, do not destroy vital testing apparatus.
Like, it's ridiculously well made. It's like magic. I would say this far surpasses the Resident Evil 2
Once
port.
again, excellent work. As part of our required test protocol, we will not monitor the next test
Resident Evil
chamber.
2 is
You will be
impressive.
entirely on your own. Good luck.
This is unbelievable. Also, the fact that it works so well, even with only one analog stick, pretty amazing. Yes, this was the last official build, I believe, Rosif. 1.04. The fact that that works is just mind-boggling. Also, the fact that the game runs well. Insane. Oh, wait. Go away.
Vital testing apparatus destroyed.
This is entirely remade for N64. This is running on a real N64 right now. That's so good. Even seeing it, it feels impossible, you know? Yeah, Orange Box 64 when? You know what I remember, and I feel like you have to be a certain kind of old to remember this at all. Before there was Portal, there was a free
As part of a
demo
required
game
test protocol,
called
our previous
Narbacular
statement
Drop.
suggesting that we would not monitor this chamber was an outright fabrication. Good job.
Does anybody else
As
remember
part
that?
of
That
a
was
required
essentially the
test
game that went
protocol, we will
on
stop enhancing
become
the truth
Portal.
in 3, 2. For your own safety, do not destroy vital testing apparatus.
God, I love doing that. Portal 64, Cronus. Very literally, this is Portal on the N64 on real hardware. It's incredible.
While safety is one of many enrichment center goals,
Well, let me
the
update
Aperture
the
Science
stream title.
high-energy pellet seen to the left of the chamber can and has caused permanent disabilities, such as vaporization. Please be careful.
Do we want to get vaporized?
Unbelievable.
So good.
You
Subject name here.
must be the pride of.
Subject hometown here.
I did not hear about that, Cronus. Tell me more. Should I mod another one of my Game Boys? I've already consoleized one. I've put new screens in them. I have a DS that can do video out and charge by USB-C. Hey, Kai, welcome. what were you up to? Doing some N64 homebrew tonight. Welcome on in, Raiders. If you don't know me, my name is Professor Bloom. I'm a music teacher. I do a lot of singing and play
Warning
lots of
devices
retro
are
games
required
exclusively
all
on real
mobile
hardware.
equipment. However, alarms
tonight-
and flashing hazard lights have been found to agitate the high-energy pellet
I'm
and
playing
have therefore
some
been
N64
disabled for
homebrew.
your
I
safety.
started with a brand new game called Junk Runner 64, which is made by the
Good.
same developer who
Now
did
use
this,
the Aperture Science
the
unstationary scaffold
incredible
to reach
Portal
the chamber lock.
N64 port. What were you up to? This is running on real hardware, by the way. I am playing this on my actual N64 right now. And it's good. God, that's so cool. Also, you would be surprised that this doesn't really suffer for only having one analog stick. It works pretty much fine. Wait, is there a camera in this room that I can destroy? No. TFT panel? I should look into it. I enjoy modding handheld specifically. Yep, it's the same game, Talking Object. So, unfortunately for everybody here, you're not going to watch me do the classic
Please note
streamer
that
thing.
We have added a consequence for failure. Any contact with the
Of,
chamber floor
you know,
will result in an
struggling
unsatisfactory
on
mark on your
Portal.
official testing record, followed by death. Good luck.
Followed by death. Good luck. Oh, you know what's a sentence that hurts to say? I first played Portal 19 years ago. That's a sentence that feels bad. I bought the orange box when it came out. I bought it specifically for Half-Life 2 Episode 2. Everything else was a bonus. I have Woozle. You know who actually sent it to me? Of all people, was my father, who's a big Ghost in the Shell fan. Whoops. Oh, there we go. He did not say it quite like that, Woozle. The fact that this does the recursive rendering, and as well as it does, is insane. Also, for anybody wondering about the control
Very
scheme,
impressive. Please note that any appearance of danger is merely a device to enhance your testing experience.
the analog stick controls the camera and the C buttons control movement, much like how Turok works. Good control scheme for one stick, if you ask me. Hanabi, my Steam account exists because I wanted to play the Half-Life 2 demo, like everybody else
The
in
Enrichment
2004.
Center regrets to inform you that this next test is impossible. Make no attempt to solve it.
And I was pissed off that I needed to install software to play a demo. I thought that was stupid. And I thought it was even stupider.
The Enrichment Center apologizes
that,
for this clearly broken test chamber.
I needed to then I uninstalled Steam after I played the demo because, the demo was great, but I thought, well, that was dumb. What was the point of all that?
Once again, the Enrichment Center offers its most sincere apologies on the occasion of this unsolvable test environment.
Unsolvable? Hardly.
Fantastic.
But I remember
You
being
remain
very
resolute
annoyed
and
that after
resourceful
buying
in
the
an
Half-Life 2
atmosphere of
discs,
extreme pessimism.
I then needed to install Steam. Which now means my Steam account is gonna turn 22 years old this year. Yeah, AOD. This is pretty amazing. The same developer that did this just released a new game yesterday called Junk Runner 64, which I've already beaten tonight. But that might be the single most impressive N64 game I've ever seen. Even
Hello
more so
again.
than this.
To reiterate, previous warning. Momentum.
One thing I will say, I do remember when Portal 2 was
For your
first
own
announced.
safety, do not destroy vital testing apparatus.
I thought, that's stupid. I still have my physical orange box discs, Cronus, and Half-Life 2. Bloom, stop destroying vital testing apparatus. Clearly, this is dangerous. I really can't get over how this runs so well and is overall so good that genuinely
Spectacular. You appear to understand how a portal affects forward momentum, or to be more precise, how it does not.
I'm forgetting that I'm playing on an N64. I need to reiterate, I am playing on real hardware right now. This is on my real N64. It plays like a dream. If this had released in 2000, this theoretically, on a technical level, could have released in 1996. I do, Ned, but it is not required for this. You can probably tell, but this does make use of full screen dithering. Very well, I might add. I feel like we are about to enter a golden age of N64 Homebrew, because more and more development tools for the N64 are being released. And they're really, really impressive. Which means it's only going to get easier for developers to make impressive games for the N64. And that really underscores that the N64, though we lump it in with the same generation as PlayStation, Saturn, 3DO,
Momentum, a function of
this
mass and
really
velocity,
is
conserved between portals. In layman's
effectively
terms,
a
speedy
console
thing goes
generation
in,
ahead of
speedy
those.
thing comes out.
And what I mean by that is, this is 1996 hardware. The others were 93 and 94. This would have been if the Panasonic M2 had ever come out. That would have been the only thing better. 2 years made a huge difference then. This is better than a lot of
The
PS2 and
Enrichment Center
Dreamcast
promises
games.
to always provide a safe testing environment. In dangerous testing environments, the Enrichment Center promises to always provide useful advice. For instance, the
Almost.
floor
That
here
was
will kill
3
you.
years,
Try
Panis,
to
but 2
avoid it.
years is doomed to descent. Think about that. Now, if the M2, so when I say M2, how many of you know what I'm actually talking about? Or am I just talking nonsense? Yeah, the 4DO, essentially. I do not mean the SSD format. The M2 essentially was the planned follow-up to the 3DO after Panasonic, or rather after the 3DO company called it quits on hardware. Panasonic wanted to further develop the concept of 3DO and started work on next generation hardware. And essentially what would have resulted from that, the M2, does actually exist. It was used in arcade hardware. Susudio. Okay, Phil Collins. That was Phil Collins, right? Or was that Peter Gabriel? No, that was Phil Collins. Waiting for what it's shooting where. How cool is that? Come on. What's this pressing this do for me again? Ah, there we go. I gotta wait. Yep, there we go. But essentially the 3DO M2 would have been... Next generation is almost underselling it on a hardware level. Because it would have been... Essentially, imagine nearly Dreamcast level technology releasing in 1996. So imagine something being nearly a generational leap ahead of the N64 at the time that the N64 was almost a generational leap ahead of its contemporaries. Which is why it remains one of gaming's great, what if stories. It would have cost a ton, but it would be easy to say that it also would have been worth it. Because the games that do exist for M2 are incredibly impressive. Alright, I'm trying to remember what I need to do from here. So I need to have that shoot out. I see. Just gotta wait for the right timing here. Yeah, so when it's there, this should be set up right. I thought. Am I missing? No, that should be it. Come on, shoot. Is that thing not... Oh, does it only shoot when I hit the button? Oh no, there we go.
The device has been modified so that it can now manufacture 2 linked portals at once. As part of an optional test protocol, we are pleased to present an amusing fact. The device is now more valuable than the organs and combined incomes of everyone in
Subject hometown, here.
Oh, just gotta wait. Nope, we didn't get both portals until now. Also, when the ad plays, I will take a beer. Cool Cats, how could you not realize that I didn't have the ability to think with portals yet? For shame. Hey, Shep, how's it going? I think the craziest thing about this port is there were assuredly people playing Portal in 2007 on minimum settings and probably not getting a much more fluid experience than this. You know? And being perfectly satisfied with it. Alright, an ad is going to play in a minute. I gotta pee because I've been drinking beer. I'll be right back. All right. Thank you for waiting, everybody. Are you ready to continue thinking with portals? I know I am. Also, cheers. I'm going to finish the last of my beer here. I'm now caught up on my cold one redeems. And almost immediately hiccuped. Let us continue. Also, know what? I'm going to do something I should have done some time ago and invert my controls because, oh, that's so much better. That's so much better. Hey, Skullcrut, thank you so much for the resub. 8 months. I am thinking with portals. Have you seen this demake before, Skullcrut?
Fling into space.
I am playing it on real hardware. The reason I'm playing this is because the dev here, James Lambert is the name, just released a new game called Junk Runner 64. And I already beat that. So now I'm playing this. And it really is unbelievably good. Okay, I think I need to be ready to shoot a new orange portal. Ooh, how is it? How did your first homebrew turn out? I have only ever helped others with the homebrew process. I have not made my own. It does not go that far, Linguini, I don't think. That should have dropped a little companion cube for us. Maybe it didn't. I thought it did. No? Maybe. That just opens that up. Yeah, it didn't turn into wine or vinegar. That's a good start. Ah, there we go. That's what I'm forgetting. Look, it's been a while since I've played Portal. There we go. Gonna have to forgive me some forgetfulness. Didn't play it till 2022. Well, it's not like there's a bad time to play Portal, you know? The fact that this works on N64 is genuinely unbelievable. It's insane. And the fact that it's as good as it is. Oh, I just had an insane evil thought. What if this game supported the N64 mouse? Thank you for participating in this Enrichment Center activity. It is still in development. I should get an N64 mouse. It's so useless, but I really should. There is, Ned. Actually, there are mice for almost every old game console you can think of. I would really like to get them. So I have a mouse for my Super Nintendo. I have a mouse for my Sega Genesis. I need a mouse for my PlayStation. I need a mouse for my Saturn. I need a mouse for my 3DO. I need a mouse for my Casio Loopy. I need a mouse for my PCFX. I need a mouse for my N64. You can play StarCraft 64 with the mouse. Also, here is a very shameless plug on my part. If you want to be very silly and very generous, I do have a throne on which I put, how do I describe, silly items that I don't really expect anybody to buy. Things like strange console peripherals. So if you, for some reason, really wanted to see me use a, 3DO mouse to play Police Knots on the 3DO, am I going to put the virtual tap on there? No, I'm probably just going to buy that. Or like, if you want to see me play Densha De Go on N64 with the Hey You Pikachu mouse hooked up, I will. Or if you want me to play Famicom Pachinko games with a Pachinko controller, I will. These are things that are a little too silly for me to buy for myself. And because these are eBay listings, these are essentially just monetary values that will then be paid out that I then use to just buy the item. What that means in practice is that these are getting you like 80% of the way there. Will I hand cam if I do the Famicom Pachinko controller? Probably not. Maybe I'd put on gloves and do it. It could be fun. Same with the Densha De Go. I mean, you can tell the difference. Maybe not with Pachinko, but I would take pictures of it. Sold for $230, shipped out this morning. Pretty good. That's why I'm happy I got mine for $100. A great example of that is someone incredibly generously funded the PC-98 that I put on my throne. What that really was, though, was about probably 50% of the overall actual cost of setting up a PC-98 for streaming, because that was just the computer. That doesn't include the mouse, keyboard, FM sound card, anything else that will be required essentially for getting it to work. So I do have the unit. It does work. Oh no, I've got it in my possession, Riley. I have it now. I need a mouse, keyboard, FM sound card. I bought a step-down power converter. So really, with things on Throne where they're not items that get bought directly from, say, Amazon or anywhere else, what essentially the Throne is doing is just giving a partial funding towards me buying and setting those up. That's a certified Bloom moment, Hanabi. It's just because the Toki Memo one would be nice. Actually, for the mouse, Riley, you can use a Microsoft import mouse because it's a 9-pin mini DIN with the same pin out. So it can work. Mine's a 9821. Am I getting a blue SCSI with it? Not yet. I'm going to assemble everything I need very slowly and as I find it. What should I play now? There are lots of fan translations of N64 games as well. I'm going to do something very predictable. Whoops. I'm going to load up a fan translation. You're not going to be surprised at what it is, but it's not a golf game, if you can believe that. It's not Mahjong either. But it is very predictable. No, it's not Japanese Quest 64, But it is Puyo. Because, I mean, come on. I have not dipped my toes into Alex 64 yet. Oh, Hercules 64 sucks. I just have that game. No, I have Castlevania as well. Oh, is it not loading? Oh, well. I haven't tested that. I haven't done a ton with my summer cart just yet. I mean, for Homebrew, it's really just Junk Runner and Portal. Fan translations, I have Shirin. The Viewpoint game that was lost forever and recently found. And Custom Robo as well, though those aren't loading for some reason. I don't believe so, Riley. But I don't know. And then I have just, the whole N64 library as well. Oh, hold on. Hold on. There is Mahjong.